Hello, and welcome to Storytime with Rudy Camarillo, the star of the Camarillo corruption case. Today I'm going to read you a story that I wrote on November 11th, 2019 to the Omaha FBI. This was number 26 of 26 contact-wise through emails, letters, or phone calls. Hello, I'm again writing you about my case, the conspiring that has transpired, the reduction of quality of life. Hello, welcome to Storytime with Rudy Camarillo, the star of the Camarillo corruption case. This is a story labeled 26 of 26 submissions to the Omaha FBI, written on November 11th in the year of our Lord 2019. Now this was following me leaving this Midwest to get away from the police and state and public corruption, in hopes of having restoration so me and my children can go on with a better life. But unfortunately, the way that they work, it carried over, upsetting me. Here I am, nearly a year later, and my children are still in despair, and nothing has been done. Hello, I'm again writing you about my case, the conspiring that has transpired, the reduction of quality of life for my children and I. Criminal intrusion, reducing my safety and security, and constitutional rights being violated daily. As I have stated in previous letters, this all stemmed from a very unprofessional, unlawful termination with the state of Iowa. At the absolute worst time of my life, that absolutely desecrated my family and cost us everything we owned, had, loved, and cherished. Eventually costing us even each other, using my children as pawns and recently causing me to move. Due to trespasses causing me to fall further in debt, struggle, endure more heartache and distress. However, the trespasses that I have been enduring the last few years have followed me, as the violators do not care for jurisdiction, policy, procedure, morals, ethics, or constitution, engaging in more public corruption and environmental engineering, impeding upon my workplace as they have the last few jobs, which is largely in part why I have had to leave to escape the distress and emotional engineering. I know these efforts have been put forth by the state of Iowa public and official forces. I highly suspect this could even be a deep state collaboration of offenses and efforts of self-preservation and support of a smear campaign, or perhaps an unconstitutional malicious investigation, which I believe has been illegally leaked as a slander technique to divide the people and preserve the power in order to arrive at a desired outcome, which includes my silence on the last 5 years of American atrocities, that I assure you will not be the outcome should my family not be restored from a place of despair after many years of injustices and unlawful acts. The obstruction of justice, my Sixth Amendment, along with several others, especially my Fourth Amendment, is absolutely not a matter to be taken lightly, especially when it comes to one family and their future, the futures thereof. A proper and thorough investigation utilizing the questions and individuals that I have previously provided would reveal many truths, and that list is only a fraction of supporting witnesses. As I have stated, I have by no means been a perfect human being or American my entire life, but I assure you I am a human being and an American. Any further dehumanizing tactics and constitutional violations are beyond unwarranted and unjust. They have maliciously been intruding and slandering my life to justify and cover up their initial trespasses and damages to my family and way of life that have transpired since. This should have been a simple restoration of items and quality of life lost, but has now gotten to the point where, if not humbly amended, both or all parties need to put all trespasses on the table and sift through them for both truth and justice. My isolated sins of the past in no way represent my character or hold a candle to their continued sin of the present and malicious character. The policies, procedures, constitutional, moral, and ethical values violated the last several years have been immense, causing me and my family damages beyond repair and losses, physical, monetarily, and even losses so precious as time with growing children. Irreplaceable, unforgivable. None of which will cease to continue to grow, along with the pain and sufferings endured, until the proper actions are taken care of. This can be as simple or complex as it needed be. To make it right by both American and biblical standards, a thorough investigation in which you notified each individual that it is a federal offense to falsify documents, provide coerced statements, or lie to an agent. This would reveal many truths in the matter, and it would not be a hard path to pursue. My children and I cannot be reunited and continue on with our lives until this is made just. It has affected several families and absolutely destroyed mine for life. Healing, closure, and restoration are what I am in pursuit of, and must have all three in order to have any chance at regaining and maintaining a happy, healthy life for my children. So much of what I believed in has either been jaded, discredited, or destroyed through my eyes, and must either be accounted for or reinstated. The negligence of attention to this matter is in fact what keeps these incidents and trespasses occurring. Personally, I don't understand how these actions were not put to an end while in the Omaha jurisdiction, considering the entire Midwest and beyond is aware of the actions and the conspiring occurring. But on the other hand, I do understand the power of preservation, perception, and persecution. I assure you that those responsible for the continued trespasses are operating on sheer humanistic emotions and malicious motives, when in fact none of those elements have a place in the futures of my children or the proceedings of my American way of life. They have simply hindered our futures and damaged our past. For these reasons, I am appropriately requesting attention in this matter. I thank you for your time and efforts and duties. Respectfully, Rudy J. Camarillo. Now, I remind you that this was, what, 26 of 36 contacts now. At the end of this, I did put a little postscript for them in case they didn't get it under tactful professional terms. Postscript, in layman's terms. I'm not a fool and aware of everyone's position. I understand all these entities doing this are covered under their umbrella. That's why they don't want to have accountability or put forth the efforts. But when it comes to my children, my way of life, and my American rights, it don't matter. My life has been harassed, threatened, and demolished for nearly 5 years. The phone tap and electronic intrusion itself has driven me crazy. My family and everything I stood for is fucked and needs to be unfucked. That's layman's terms as hell. I will not stand for any more and am not afraid of risking everything, which at this point has been reduced to nothing. On the contrary of what self-preservation consumed and conspiring animosity-filled individuals may say, I am a good American man and father. I would never do this to your children. Or you. I ain't that petty. I'll let God judge you. I'll let him forgive you too. That ain't my job. The trespasses are beyond countless and malicious at this point. Due to condemning violators that have driven me to and followed me on my journey, they have now carried over to Nevada. But nothing is permanent until this matter is settled, and my family is properly restored and cared for. This includes my ex-wife, who was largely behind this, because that's what heart does. I take care of the people that you enable and hurt. For that reason, I will continue to walk through the entrapment and defamation facing forward and ignoring my environment. Leadership at some level must do something to cease this in a humble and non-exposing manner, for I am prepared to dedicate my entire life to the exposure and the prevention of this happening to another good man and his family. The damage is done for my life on my end, and should they continue, I am by all means prepared to swallow even more humility in the name of American justice and truths. Constitution, policy, procedure, rule of law, due process. Learn it, follow it. You ruined my life, you ruined my children's life. We need to address this matter. I've been covering every entity I could from the bottom of the chain of command to the top and back down again, getting thrown around like a pinball because nobody wants to address it. We have a serious problem in America with government taking accountability. What kind of an example is this? What kind of an example is this? You can ruin a man's life and then go on smear campaigns and operate underneath some podunk deep state bullshit to continue, pardon my language, to continue ruining their life to cover up your actions, so there's zero accountability on your end. Zero, right? And you're going to let children just suffer, right? You're going to put women in a man's life, use churches, all that stuff. This is absolutely ludicrous. And for leadership at some level in the Midwest not to smack their subordinates in the back of the head and say, hey, get your shit straight, you know, do your job according to Constitution, policy, procedure, and that oath that you put your hand on the Bible and up in front of the flag. Remember that oath? That wasn't just a paragraph to get a paycheck. That's supposed to mean something. That's the structure in which this country is founded on. Hundreds of thousands of American young men and women have sacrificed their lives in the name of nothing other than that Constitution that you guys have spit on. As a matter of fact, I put my life on the line, locked and loaded, and stepped outside the wire every day for the first 11 months of my daughter's life. So I could come back and we could both enjoy our rights. And you guys stomped all over them. They mean something to me. They should mean something to you. Just like that oath. Let's get some due process going and figure this out. I'm done with the threats and all the attempts at my safety and security, pop shots, whatever. Done with it. I think we all know what's going on. We try to discredit me by doing so much that maybe I'd speak up and I'd look, oh, crazy. No, the whole Midwest knows. You guys have spread it outside of there. I mean, what kind of examples are you being? We need some demotions. We need some promotions. We need to take care of my children. Actually, we don't. I will. You guys can't handle it? That's that. But my silence enables sin, and I ain't down with that. You guys have done too much to my family. Let's get this popping. Into the Midwest, imagine this happening to you, and this sort of leadership being negligent as hell while your children, you know, I think about the tens of thousands, even 100,000 tears my daughters unwarrantedly, is that a word, have shed, that I could have protected them from. But because people want to use my children as pawns, play these little games and stuff like this, you guys don't even know how deep it is. They found out how to hurt me through my heart, and they continue to do that. And our government's got a serious accountability problem. And when it comes to morals and ethics, they don't want me talking about this. God bless. Godspeed. God forgive. Not my job.